Hello, Scott Granley here from Cars Youth Center, and I have Sheriff Craig Mast with me here, and we're just going to go through a few things. And Craig, could you just introduce yourself a little bit? Like how long have you been in the law enforcement here? And
Sure. Yep. My name's Craig Mast. I've been here with the sheriff's office for 32 years. I've I've been the sheriff for the last 2 terms, so 8 years. I'm just starting my 3rd term as Oceana County Sheriff.
Awesome, awesome. And then you've just always been here in your law enforcement time is in the area.
I bounced around part time at Hart PD and Shelby PD and we're Petwater PD until I was able to get in full time here at the county. And I
awesome.
started as a dispatcher because we used to dispatch right here at the county. And then I dispatched for a couple months, and then I went right to night shift, and I did 17 years on night shift.
Oh wow, incredible. And so, did you have any of your family members that followed suit and your the law enforcement are doing things like this?
Yeah, yep. I've got a brother-in-law that works here with me. He's a deputy sheriff. Well, he's been promoted to a sergeant now.
Okay, cool.
He runs a Marine division. Also, my son is a deputy sheriff in Mason County, and my son-in-law is a deputy sheriff here in Oceana County.
Oh, wow,
I've also got a cousin that worked for me for a little bit here as a deputy, and then he took a job in the Department of Natural Resources as a conservation officer. So,
oh wow,
we
you got quite a bit involved with the.
Yeah.
It's nice to see people follow your suit or be part of what you're doing as a family members. I can imagine around your table would be pretty fun with some of the stories.
Sometimes it's colorful.
Yeah. And so, just to ask you, with the youth that you went to high school with when you were a teenager, just looking back at that and how you walked into campus and did things there, what would you say the biggest difference now that you see in the youth then and then the youth now that in 2025 here?
The communication has changed so much. Back when we were in school, it was all face to face, maybe a little bit of written communication, but mostly face to face. Now there's such little face to face with, texting has become such a big deal, and on different formats of texting, whether they're just a general text or whether it's a Snapchat or whether they're on Instagram, or there's so much technology, and it's such a digital age. That's been a huge change to all of our age groups, but including our youth.
Yeah, I can definitely see that as a thing that we're even since the 2020, since the pandemic, and having that time of just being isolated. It's probably pretty easy to be in that mode of just the screen time.
It is, yeah. And you realize how some people get lazy, if I will, about talking face to face, about having adult conversations, or speaking to older people or younger people of different age. Where opposed, you can just hit a few digits on your cell phone and text them a message, and you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So
that's true. And it's funny because you ever think of with bullying, when you were maybe younger and then bullying now. Do you guys ever get reports of bullying? Have you seen it go higher in things?
I've seen it ebb and flow. It's gone up and it's gone down. There's still bullying. There was bullying when I was in school.
Sure.
When back in the day, there was bullying, and there is still some bullying. Now we are fortunate that we have school resource officers in more of our schools.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Hart Police Department has one here in Hart Public Schools. We now have a deputy sheriff that's assigned to Shelby Public Schools. So he's there face to face with the kids, and he gets to interact with them a lot more often and see when this bullying, if it is occurring, that he can get involved in it and try to settle these differences or make it stop before it's harmful.
Yeah, that's great. And what a great resource for them to at least have someone
It
immediate.
is. That relationships is really, really important now.
Yeah. And it's funny because we're talking about bullying and thinking about law enforcement. Do you think in our area in Oceana, do you feel like people respect you, or do you feel like the people I don't know if things have changed since you've been in this field for quite a while.
Yep.
But how do you think people see and maybe respect law enforcement now? What are you seeing as a trend?
So I think we're really fortunate to live in the area that we do.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a need that I can't provide to the community or to the department, if I reach out to the community answers really, really quickly. I've got a very, we've got a very good community around us that supports us for the most part. There's always going to be a few haters that don't agree with a deputy, or don't agree with an enforcement action, or don't agree with something that we've done. I worked the road 17 years myself. There's a lot of times you upset people, but
Yeah.
a lot of those people that I may have upset back in the day when I was on the road, a lot of them are good friends now, and they understand that I was just doing my job, and it's part of doing business.
Yeah.
And but again, we're fortunate to live in the area that we are. We've got a lot of good people around us, and really, I think the Oceana County Sheriff's Department has a lot of community support and is viewed very favorably.
That's awesome. That is great. And then, if a teenager was thinking, hey, I want to go into law enforcement. I am interested in, maybe being involved, doing something, maybe it might not be traffic, might be detective, might be something like that. But what are some of the things that you would want to give some advice to a teenager, maybe even to a parent, to say, hey, these are some directions, this is some ways that you want to go?
Right. So anymore, social media is such a big thing, but what you do on social media will follow you.
Yeah, true.
And one of the first things we do on background checks is that we pull up people's social media accounts. And kids need to be mindful of that when they're young and they're doing some, they think it's cool to post stupid things. Well, those stupid things can come back and haunt you later on in life. So they really need to be mindful of what they're posting on social media, and because it's real easy to put too much out there. Beyond that, if somebody's got an idea that they want to be in law enforcement, well, they need to stay out of serious trouble. They need to, they can't have a criminal record and get involved in law enfortment. It's not viewed very, very strongly. So that they need to have a good academic background. They're going to have to get some education, go to police academy, etc. But if you do well in school, if you participate in some team sports, if you're in some groups, some youth groups, some ministry groups, those are all really good things where people learn to work as a team. They learn to communicate really well amongst each other and talk to adults and kids at the same time. And that's all really important stuff.
Yeah. And so the reason why we're kind of meeting is that we're going to have you come out on July 1st. It's a Tuesday. We are going to be meeting at the Hart Wesleyan Church. And Sheriff Mast is going to come and just share some things that kind of can make us better youth pastors and leaders. And is there maybe some things that you might be able to share with us to give? You don't have to give everything, but just maybe some little bit of a topic about what you could share with us. And I'm asking that you don't really share too deep, because I really want them to show up and be part of our meeting. But is there some things that maybe like 2-3 things that you would be able to share right now?
Yeah, I hope that we can build some good relationships and learn to make those relationships by sharing our ideas and working on issues together here in the community to make ourselves have a stronger community.
Yes.
And so I guess I'll save some of those ideas for the event.
Yeah.
But, so a lot of communication and some rapport and some.
Yeah, and then maybe while we're there, if you could, I know you just shared with the advice that you give someone coming into the law enforcement, and maybe some advice that you can kind of give that our youth make now will be a lifelong decision, and you share some of those things like social media and stuff like that. So and then maybe we can get a little bit of information there. So
absolutely, we can go into that subject a little bit further and talk about how. All of your actions have consequences and repercussions, and we can get involved in that. And there's good consequences, and there's there's good repercussions as well too. If if you do something and you get to be known for having a good, strong work ethic, and you're an honest person, and you tell the truth, and you do good things, that repercussion will be very positive. So.
Yeah, and so I just want to, I'll just close this here. And so, yes, if you can make it, youth pastors, leaders, if you work with the youth ministry in any way, we would like you to come out July 1st. It's at 6:30. We're going to be at the Hart Wesleyan Church there on Polk Road, and we'd like to see you there, and we'll have some more information from you from Sheriff Mast. And again, thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely.